And I've had a lot of trouble trying to use any other software than directly on the YouTube. But I just tried out there's a platform called IRL, and I got some things to work, but for me, like I need to be seeing the chats. I need to be seeing how many people are in the room, because other than that, it just feels like I'm talking to myself, and I'm not seeing the reactions in real time. So it makes a big difference in how I'm able to talk to people. So all right, guys. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. Hey everyone, it's Robot News Alert here, and we are in Christmas break. So, Christmas time, if it's your first time here, I teach about robotics and AI, and teach you all about the different type of humanoid robots, all the ways that robots and AI are being integrated into our society. But the biggest part of that is really how that's going to affect you. And welcome in KK, VO2. Welcome in Keen Martin. Thank you for checking me out today. The most important thing with learning about robots and AI is really about how that's going to affect your day-to-day life. Here's a stat: in just 3 years' time, 4 out of 5 people are going to be interacting with a humanoid robot on a daily basis. So what does that look like, guys? Um, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you some videos of what these robots are like, and then just because it's Christmas time, guys, we're gonna look at celebrations from around the world because you know we talk about robots, AI, but we also just talk about what's going on in the world, and now it's Christmas time, so sometimes I think it's cool to look at how things are celebrated all around the world. So if you're joining in, let me know where you're from. Maybe we'll check out your country and some traditions there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So again, welcome in, guys. And last 3 days, I've really been aggressively going live because um, I've been gaining some momentum. I was just at 80 followers, now I'm at 120, and that's just from lives like this. We did a tour on campus just this weekend, and that got us a lot of views. And last night we did a 2 hour live that got us a lot of views as well. All right, guys. So to start off, so when I talk about like humanoid, godly citizens, said Jesus. We're talking about Christmas tonight as well, guys. I'm a robotics creator, so I share videos kind of like this. Um, like we look at all the real humanoid robots and we discuss the kind of the technology behind them because it's one of the biggest trends that's coming in. The last few years, it's all been about AI, and this is kind of they're calling it embodied AI, which means it's AI now with the ability to move around and do things. So that's gonna change the world in a big way. We got Godly Citizen. Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Neymar Gonzalez, welcome in. Looks like we got uh, people from all over the world. Guys, when I stream, sometimes I have people from Holland, India. We look at videos from around the world, sometimes looking at the robots and AI that they have, sometimes just looking at the countries. So, welcome in, guys. We're going to cover and learn as much as we can tonight. So, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Um, First off, you guys could let me know in the comments like where you guys are coming in from. Today's kind of a big day for me personally because I just got my first donation on a stream earlier, so that was kind of a cool thing to have for sure. So guys, I'm gonna highlight today the Neo robot. Who's heard about the Neo robot? Happy Monday. LeBron's back in here. That's right. Happy Monday, and it's a special Monday because it's a holiday week, guys. So thanks for spending some time with me. We're gonna do a special edition tonight where we're also gonna take a trip around the world and show you guys how people are celebrating Christmas time. So this is the Neo robot. So guys, this is a semi-autonomous robot, and it is like it's controlled by a team of technicians in Norway, but they ship it to your house to do tasks. So it's kind of like, they're not quite there with the technology to have a fully autonomous robot in your home, but they're there. So, guys, just come with me. I'm gonna grab some water. How's everyone doing? Guys, I don't know if you've ever tried streaming before. I always suggest people to do it, but one thing is you really become like an artist because you need to get on here and talk for hours and hours and hours. and with that, you really got to kind of take care of your voice and stuff like that. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna put up the Q&A if you guys have any questions. But it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time, and we're gonna have a fun time tonight. All right, guys, I got a question for you. Favorite part of Christmas? So you guys let me know. And while you guys answer that, I'm gonna pull up some of the latest videos in robotics. Okay, guys, who's heard of Wang Li Home? I have not, but in the biggest story in robotics today is that at a concert, this guy looks like Chinese or K-pop, but at a concert, he brought out 4 robots who danced with him. So let's take a look. So you see he's up there on stage, and half of the robots are actually Unitree G1 robots. So you guys see that? You see on stage right there? These are robots. So what do you guys think about that? It's pretty impressive how good at these robots are getting at like running around, and that's the Unitree G1. So this is a robot that starts at 5,900. That's what they say on the website. If you wanted to have capabilities like that, I mean they're in the 30,000s. But I'll show you more about this robot. This is the Unitree G1. So you see, these things can move quite impressively, and these are also partly controlled by controllers. So they're not fully autonomous. They're not just doing that, but they do have a lot of capabilities that are autonomous. So these have been like on a big marketing push. All right, guys, no one's answering the question, so I'm just gonna take it off. But they're definitely popular. I don't know if you've heard of the Rizbot. It's like a TikTok thing, and that's one of these that goes around cities and kind of just like yells at people. But that was part of their marketing campaign as well. Ray M, I did watch. You watched the concert? You talking about the concert? Ray M's listening, and Ray M, I think I remember you from yesterday, so appreciate you being in there. The guys were talking about these robots dancing at a concert. You see that? These are all robots. And so it goes to show, like, robots are starting to be more and more in pop culture, and have all kinds of applications there. All right, here's a scary looking robot. This is a crowd. Actually, it's AI generated. Ray said robots exist a long time. Um, well, I mean, they're kind of just like, they're like computers. Guys, you want to know what type of vocal exercises you have to do when you're talking for hours and hours and hours? Um, so robots, that's a good question, Ray. So let's look up the history of robots. How long have robots been around? And I'll share about it. So Ray's asking how long have robots been around? And I'm gonna pull up some history for you guys. Guys, welcome in. I'm a robotics creator. So today we're learning a little bit about robots, but also looking at Christmas celebrations around the world, just because it's Christmas break now. So here's the history. The word itself, robots, for the first time was coined in 1920. And the first reference to it was artificial workers. And the concept was mentioned earlier in history. So, like in Greece around 60 AD, there is a concept of a mechanical automata, is what it's called. And it was kind of in folklore, and that was like the idea of machines that could perform tasks. The first like industrial robots, like used by businesses, were in the 1950s and 60s, and they were installed in a General Motors plant in 1961. So um, I hope that's a bit of a history for you. It looks like in ancient Rome, they had this idea of robots, machines that could kind of do things on their own. And in 1920s, they started calling them robots. 1950s, they started having the first ones. And the ones with like control sensors, in 1970s, that's when you started getting more and more robots. They started like surgical robots and stuff like that. Those have been around for the last 20 years, but the ones with AI, I mean, that's pretty new. Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in, welcome to the hangout tonight. We're checking out robot videos. We've seen robots dancing at a concert in China. Um, Here's a robot that is kind of selling for the holidays. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. I'm just doing a little reading over here. Hey guys. Hey guys, what's going on? My bad, I was Sam the Goat. Welcome in, man. I think I've seen you in here a few times. But welcome back. So guys, tonight we've gone over the history of robots. So who knows when the term robots was first used? Does anyone know? Hey, Christmas time. Hey, sick pup, welcome in. And so we're going over robots. We're also talking about Christmas. All right, Sam the Goat. And the word itself, robots, was first used in 1920, guys. So there's a Czech writer, Mr. Capek, who termed the word robots, and what robots meant was artificial. Sam the Goat, I don't even know what you're talking about, man, or ma'am. But anyways, guys, so the word robots came about in 1920, and it was based on a concept that actually started during the Roman period of 2060 AD, where there is a book called The Hero of Alexandria, and in that book they described self-operating machines that could perform tasks. They did not have AI back then, but it was in their mind that eventually machines will be able to do tasks. So it kind of started. When did we first start getting the first robots? That was in 1950. So in 1950, there was a programmable robot. It was called Unimate, and it was installed by General Motors, and it handled hot metal parts. And that kicked off the modern robotics industry. So fast forward to today, robots just 2-3 years ago where that's a good question, Sam the Goat. So when was AI made? So we just learned that robots were kind of made in the 1950s was when we got the first robots. AI, I believe it came from the 90s, but I'll double check that. All right, guys, 1 second. All right, guys, sorry I had a call. I thought it was maybe urgent or something, but um, we wanted to talk about. All right, guys, welcome back. So we wanted to talk. Angry Otter reacts. Hey, I appreciate it, and I remembered you from yesterday, so thanks for coming back in. We're talking about what's the history of AI. So the history of AI, it actually started back in 1956. John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, um, coined the term artificial intelligence. This was at a Dartmouth conference. If you guys don't know, Dartmouth is a college in the United States, and it was related to a paper by Alan Turing. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. Viral Animal. Thank you for being here. What's going on, man? So Alan Turing had the Turing test, which was a measure of machine intelligence. And then from that paper, people started to think about it and they started coining the term artificial intelligence. So that over the years evolved. Um, and I'm just pulling up some more history here. So they started creating expert systems around this in the 1980s. So you guys got to think about this. Before the 1980s, a computer wasn't, there wasn't really many computers. Like there was computers, but it was like, one computer and it could, not do that many calculations. So in the 1980s, they started developing, they started having more access to computers and they started to develop artificial intelligence back then. And in the 1990s, it's considered the AI Renaissance. And that's because, it gained a lot of traction. People started, you know, coding a lot more. IBM is such a big company because they really were, you know, the head starters in this. But this is like AI that, we wouldn't even consider too useful today. When people talk about AI, they really want to know about GPT. Guys, what does anyone know? Viral Animal. I don't know. I don't have. If one thing I do, I don't do giveaways, but one thing I do is with robots and AI, I talk about how it affects people's lives. And so I encourage people to build their own like socials and things like that. So one thing I do with my audience every night, if anyone's bold enough to share their social media that they're trying to grow, I pull it up on the feed. We watch some videos. We try to show support to them. So that's what I do for my followers. I'm I can't say I don't make any money from this because I just got my first donation today. Very happy about that. But I will say that I'm not at the point to do giveaways or anything like that. So I appreciate you being here. I'm happy to support if you guys post your socials. But other than that, hope that answers your question there. So, what does GPT mean? Everyone knows ChatGPT. Does anyone know what GPT means? If you guys know what GPT means from ChatGPT, put it in the chat. Hey, thanks, Viral. No one knows what GPT means, then you're about to, learn something from this feed. So GPT just means it means generative pre-trained transformer. And why that's important, so if we break down that word, like generative, obviously, it generates new text. When you put something in GPT, that's the generation. Pre-trained is like, okay, how does ChatGPT answer you? And it answers you because it has like a massive amount of data that it's trained on. So it's the pre-trained part. And transformer, I'm not too sure, but it has something to do with the type of neural network architecture. So if you guys learned one thing today, it is what GPT means: generative pre-trained transformer. You learned that people come in and out, but we the history of AI, um, starting back in the 1950s, and we learned the history of the robot, also starting in the 1950s. So it's pretty new stuff, but the reason why I get on here and do it is because it's picking up rapidly. I mean, 1950 to 2010, there's obviously a lot of innovation, but the innovation like recently with AI, now like the GPT capable AI has skyrocketed, and now these machines, it's all started as this concept of machines that can do things. Now these machines can do so many things, and why should you care? I mean, in just 2 to 3 years, 4 out of 5 people will interact with a robot on a daily basis, and most jobs I think are going to be there's going to be a lot of robots doing jobs that we do today. I mean, not just robots, AI. You're already seeing it. I mean, I'm in business. Um, people are pushing like, oh, we'll use AI for that. Guys, I want to do 4 hours every day this week. I've only done an hour today, but my voice is a little hoarse. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Guys, I think I'm gonna show you guys what it takes to be a streamer. Um, We're gonna look at. We're gonna look at exercises like vocal coaches have you do to be a streamer. So if you guys are like content creators and want to make your own thing, and you want to do hop on a stream and talk for like an hour or whatever, then it's highly recommended you do exercises. All right, that's how I've improved over the last few months. I used to get on for 30 minutes and I would be done, but I'll show you guys exercises that like are highly recommended. All right, so I'm a guy, so there's this guy on TikTok. I'm gonna turn this off. Make sure to save this video. It's gonna help you a lot. Practice it every day on Gug. You ready? Gug 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 gug. A little bit louder than speech volume. So, anyways, I know you guys didn't want to hear that, but I'm trying to save my voice at the same time. So, appreciate you guys sticking around while I did that. So yeah, guys, um, AI robots. It's all kind of new, but it's gonna affect your life in a major way. And I try to have the caring conversations on here, to kind of best prepare you for that. So, anyways, let's see where we're at. Um, so we started the stream at 122. We are at 123. So I think that's viral animal. Viral animal in the house. You were the follower today. We've done pretty well this week. Gone from 88 to 123 followers now. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys for joining in. Let me know. Is anything you guys want to talk about tonight? I'm gonna put up a poll. Maybe I'll do some more exercises, vocal exercises. What do you guys think about that? I know. So I'll put up a poll, topics for tonight. Put on a little music. My classic music that I play. And you guys let me know. What topics we want to cover. If there's any, I like to talk about robots and AI, but anything, Christmas time stuff, whatever. Robot trends, Angelica said. Let's check out some robot trends. So, with robot trends, I know, like, one thing I follow is where the investments are. And if you look in the last 2 weeks, where the biggest investments in robots in AI, it has been in medicine. So, using AI applications to discover new drugs for, different types of medicines. So, I think there's that is, it's not a trend now. Like, these were like funding rounds, but the investment usually comes, um, couple months before you see anything about the trends. So anyone else? Anyone else? Voice AI. I think I think it's useful. So, guys, when we were doing our street interviews this past weekend, we had an artist who was interested in using voice AI. So we told him that, I mean, in my experience, the best voice AI application is 11 Labs. Who's heard of 11 Labs? So I'm gonna pull it up for you guys. So 11 Labs, this is the website. It's text to speech. So you put in speech and, like, sarcastically, and then you choose your voice. So, we'll choose English, but play it. Let's see what it sounds like.
In the ancient land of Eldoria, where skies shimmered and forests whispered secrets to the wind, lived a dragon named Zephyros. Not the burn it all down kind, but he was gentle, wise, with eyes like old stars. Even the birds fell silent when he passed.
So you see, like, you just put in the words, and it narrates a story for you. Now, if you look at a lot of YouTube videos, YouTube shorts, you'll start noticing, if you get the application, that a lot of the videos like that are narrated, they're just using this tool. And it's not that expensive. I think it's like as little as $5 a month. There's a free plan. And if you want it to sound like you, it gets a little more complicated. You have to say like these scripts that show all the ways, the different tonalities that you speak in, and kind of go from there. So, does that answer your question? I do. So, I do have an 11 Labs account. I haven't done much like content creation and stuff like that. But I have worked with the tool, and maybe I'll put a video on how to make your account and use that voice AI, because it seems to be a pretty popular topic for sure. Hee hee Nini, welcome in. So we got Hee Hee Nini 67 put in the chat. That's kind of like something. It's like a popular thing to say these days, huh? But either way, welcome in. This is a robots and AI channel, so we teach about like all the robots. We're talking about voice AI, using AI to replicate your voice. 11 Labs is kind of like the best one, in my opinion. So and you see, starting to be used at a lot of places. Like now, Hee Nini said, change your voice. So I'm not sure if there's a ability to do that on stream. Like, let me see if there is though. I mean, that's kind of like a cool thing. I'll show you guys what you can do on on this app. So I think you can do stuff like this. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really do many effects on here, but what I was trying to show everyone is like with this text to speech. So we just went through one narrative of like, we put in the text to speech in the English language. I'll play for it real quick. So let's see. Now let's change the language. So say we want, what language should I pick, guys? Afrikaans, Arabic, Belarusian, Bengali. Help me pick a language. Dutch, Finnish. What language you guys want? Gujarati, Hebrew, Irish. Let's hear some Irish. All right, guys. So now we're gonna listen to this story. in Irish sounding voice. Sorry, I gotta refresh this. I think it's... Okay, I didn't know Irish looked like that, but let's take a listen. You ready? So it's generating now.
Idir Orsha Eldaria. At Alunrian the Spearha. Axachunian the Furshi Rune than Gui. Vi Dragon Darb anim Zephyrus in Achoni. Nian Kinnel doi gachrod Chise. Ach Visha Knyasta, Klishta. La Sula Kasula Realty Orsa. Vi Funahain Kune, nor Yulshe Heart.
I didn't know Irish had a language like that, to be honest. Kind of sounded different. You guys knew Irish sounded like that? Anyways, guys, I feel like my voice needs a little rest. Engagement really is not high at the moment, so I'm going to end the stream, and I'll probably get back on a little bit later. See you guys. Thank you.